What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is another Chance Encounter.
Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. We're seeing more properties like this being built in front of a house that's going to be torn down soon.
I understand that there are power lines that are getting kind of close.
What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg, and that there is a commercial real estate building.
I'm joined today with Jordan Taylor. How you doing today, Jordan?
I'm pretty good, man. How you been?
I can't really complain. For those of you in the audience who have never seen a Chance Encounter before, this is how it works. I interview commercial real estate investors, and then I go through the 5 different motivations I've found that they had, and I say, which one's you? Then I go through the Dan Does Deals commercial roll die, and I say which one of these is your core competency. If you want your own die, you can go to DanDoesDeals.com, just like it says right there, and you can download your own die, print it out, show it to your friends and family, and that way you can effectively communicate on the topic of commercial real estate. But if you are going to be successful in commercial real estate, one thing that's absolutely vital is you have to be able to introduce yourself effectively. So Jordan, can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hey, how's it going? My name is Jordan Taylor. I am in the DMV area. I specialize in sustainable real estate development all over the DMV. We make houses more efficient and smart homes.
All right, that's a beautiful thing. So the first section that I go through, I know that you're not a newbie at all, Jordan, but I need to make sure that anybody who is a newbie who comes onto the show, boink, that they can make a lot of sense of what they're telling us. And sometimes they don't know what role they're going to have. I've got the pictures of the different roles here on this slide, but they'll definitely know their motivation. So I go through that first. So the first motivation for wanting more commercial property is that they're looking to preserve their purchasing power. If you have a family office, if you've got a large amount of cash flowing assets, the big concern is that inflation will take away the purchasing power of that cash flow. And so you have to make new acquisitions to make ends meet, or else the party's over. The next reason is my one, which is trading time for wealth. I've got a background in tech. I used to work for a CRM company. And so one thing I realized as a high earner in my agency in that capacity was that I was paying a whole lot of income tax. And so once I was figuring out how my old boss at the real estate firm in Cleveland was making enough money to pay me, I was going, well, hey, well, if I'm directly into accumulating wealth in the form of equity in commercial properties, then I am on a much better and faster track. But the fast tracking the retirement, that's the next motivation. It's a little bit separate. And the important detail of fast tracking retirement is that you got something to work with already. But the bigger one is that there's some sort of end goal in sight. You know, there's a quitting time eventually. And so it means that one day you might want to move to some place with a low cost of living or something like that. You're not going to be hustling forever. And that's in contrast to the next group. They're super ambitious. They want to buy their entire hometown. They just will not be satisfied until they're the biggest player around. And those people on a GP team, they're great because they're going to keep on hustling forever and ever. But the next group, they'll also keep hustling forever and ever, but maybe they picked a section of society that they really, really like, and they want to, have a big social impact. Like if you want to buy a hospital for your town or something like that, you're going to have to accumulate a lot of wealth. And so that's what some people are up to. Maybe it's not society, maybe it's the environment, maybe it's animals, but if there's something else going on, then that's what they're up to. So of those 5 different motivations, which describes you best right now in your commercial career?
So I'm on the retirement fast track.
Mhm.
trying to get this thing knocked out. But I actually love doing this. So I'm sure that that retirement is really going to be, to put it mildly, not so much retirement, but yeah, just trying to get to that sustainability point pretty quickly.
All right, that's really beautiful. So that brings me over to the Dan Does Deal commercial die here, and I just wanted to say one other thing. That one thing that I think personally is interesting about these chance encounters is that you'll notice I don't pretend that oh, we go way back, we've been pals since whenever. We're literally trying to feel each other out like on camera live, which I think is kind of exciting. But also, it's funny because I was thinking about 90s movies and how, like, when a hacker gets into your system, you'd have pop ups from all these different things. And I believe in being convenient. So, like, here I am popping up on your email and then putting one in Messenger as well. It's just like, weird, kind of funny feeling. But anyway, what a world we live in this 2022 now. So if you want to use the modern technology of the internet and go to DanDoesDeals.com, which is over there, you can download your own die, and maybe you don't have a whole lot of commercial real estate experience. So I'm going to go through the 6 different roles just so you can communicate effectively on the topic of commercial real estate. And the one that I want to start with is the repositioner. We're getting a pretty version of this, but this isn't it. But this repositioner piece, that's someone who looks at a whole whack of different deals, okay? And what are they looking for? What are they doing with the deals? Well, the first thing they're doing is underwriting them. Underwriting is a fancy word that just means doing the math, figuring out, is this business actually making the money that the seller says it is? And then the other thing that they're doing is they're looking for upside. And the repositioner has 2 main tools in their tool belt for finding upside. One of them is more efficient operations. You stop those Benjamins from going down the toilet. You got to collect those rents. You got to unclog those toilets. You also have to there's a marketing piece, which is one of the things I bring to a GP team, is making sure the leasing agent role of keeping vacancy low. That's something that's part of operations as well. But there's only so much you can do as far as operations to bring upside. So the other one the repositioner can do is they can get a contractor team to fix the place up, and then you can charge more rent. More rent is upside. But there's one problem. If you're like me and from the internet, then you're going to have a problem. If there's a big problem, you're going to have a local. You're going to have somebody who can be there in an hour or two. You need the boots on the ground so that they can check it out. And if you were a tenant, you'd look at these guys and say, yeah, those are all the owners. But of course, it's not that simple. The banks are involved in everything. So if you want to go and buy a property that's worth tens of millions of dollars, you're going to have to go to the bank and say, hey, got tens of millions of dollars you want to lend me? And the financier, and there are a couple different types of financiers, of course. One is capital raisers. But the financier is going to want to know one more thing that hasn't been mentioned, and that's who is the sponsor? Who's the KP? In a lot of coaching programs, they don't really spend much time talking about that little piece. But what is a sponsor? It's someone who already owns a similar asset. Okay, so even if you're Elon Musk, if you want to buy a 350 unit apartment complex, somebody in the fold has to already own a 350 unit apartment complex. You also have to come up with some liquidity, and then you also have to have a balance sheet equal to the amount of loan or greater. But if you've got all of that, you've got yourself a commercial real estate deal. So Jordan, of those different roles, what's your core competency that you're most likely to bring to your next deal?
That is the operational efficiency.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right.
Too.
Yeah. Do you want to go into more detail?
So my background is mechanical engineering. I nerd out on building science. So the overall aspect that you were talking about, saving those dollars, but also including other things that make people want to stay at the property for longer and improve the experience to get a higher dollar value. That's a big thing that we focus on as far as our developments and everything goes. So taking care of the tenants obviously is going to bring in more term, longer dollars and prevent that tenant turnover, because that's cash out of the window too. But then also lowering that overall operational costs.
All right, that's a beautiful thing. So, so you mentioned with that kind of avatar, tenant, it sounds like you're not talking about student housing or anything like that. But the next question is what your ideal property is. So let's frame it that way. So when I ask for an ideal property or a buy box, what I'm asking is what's the geography, what's the unit count, and what's the class, as far as the property where it's much easier to say yes and it's much more difficult to say no. So Jordan, what's an ideal property look like for you?
Ideal property for me, we're looking East Coast, 'cause I'm obviously, East Coast bias. And me preferably is definitely going to be somewhere warmer. So we're looking closer to the Southeast, maybe the Mid-Atlantic, depending on where you're at. And we're looking at anywhere from 20 to 80 units to be able to keep it efficient. And we're in upper C class, B class.
All right, beautiful. And one of my favorite things, I think it's pretty much everybody's favorite thing about commercial real estate, is people are so eager to help each other. But one of the things is we're more prone, or we're more prepared to help some sort of person on this die than others. Like maybe a ton of other operators, or maybe a bunch of contractors or something like that. But without breaking any SEC restrictions, so you're not allowed to entice investors unless you have a 506C. Can you describe the person who's best to reach out to you?
The person that's best to reach out to me is likely the financiers looking to deploy capital. Always seeing deals, always got a lot of projects that've got a lot of room to make a lot of money.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. And the best way to reach out to you, we ended up catching up through a meetup that I found through LinkedIn. Is LinkedIn the best way to reach you, or is there a website or something that's better?
LinkedIn's the best way to reach out to me. You're always going to be able to catch me on there.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. And one other thing that I have left is if you don't know me, audience, I'm Dan Fredenberg. I do a whole whack of this different online content. You can hop to DanDoesDeals.com to see more of these chance encounter interviews with these commercial real estate investors. You can also check out 506B Me, and that is to document your investor relationships. I've found that a lot of investors, they have their CRM, they email everybody all willy-nilly, which is against the law, or they tag a bunch of people and they only email them because they know that they have the prior existing relationship, or they are accredited investors, but that's not proof or evidence. So that doesn't mean that it'll be a tidy thing. So you can go to 506B Me after this. But I have another favor, and you shouldn't do more than one CTA. I know that you're probably here, not going to do that. So if you could do me a favor, if you look kind of over here-ish, there's this red button. Every time I see it, it drives me like off the wall. Okay. And the only way to get rid of this horrible red button is to click on it, and it'll turn gray, and it's amazing. You gotta try it. It's amazing because it has this magical power. What it does is it means that YouTube pays for this video instead of me. Right? And it costs you nothing. It just means that my videos might show up on your list of suggestions. And that's all it takes for you to do me an enormous favor, to just subscribe. But Jordan, you've done me an enormous favor as well by joining me today. This has been fantastic. Thanks for coming out.
Hey, no problem, man. You have a great one.
Awesome.
I just want to tell you, because I've actually seen your website, Real Estate is a Scam, before, and I loved it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because I think it's really so spot on. There's good stuff, bad stuff in every industry.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. For Dan the Man.
And thank you. Turn that subscribe button from red like his beard to gray like his beard will be.
So I met Dan through some networking groups for real estate investing. He's a great guy from what I know about him. He's very ambitious, and he makes it easy to come on with his questions, and has a great setup. It's easy, it's clear, concise, and I'd recommend going on his interviews for anyone that's considering it.
It was unlike anything I've ever experienced. It was super fun. The process was so easy a caveman can do it. I mean, if you guys haven't done it yet, you guys need to get on his calendar. Just take 15 minutes of your time, get exposure, find out who Dan is, what he's about. He's a true trifecta. And if you don't know who he is, get in touch with him. Google his name, find him on LinkedIn, do whatever you can. Just reach out to him.
So I really appreciate the format. Like I've told you a couple times before, I think it's really great because me personally, I'm very long-winded. I have to purposefully make things more concise, but the way I take things in is I definitely prefer things to be concise and straight to the point and concentrated. And the chance encounters really do that great for individuals. So you can get a good grasp on who they are, what do they do, why do they do it, what space do they operate in. That's why I love chance encounters.